Go reverse, pop in reverse. Something in there. Something in there.
Oh, yep.
We're out of here.
We're out of here. Here we go. He's gonna need some help.
In this video, we're going to talk about the new regulations for 2021, actually effective January 1st of 2021 for the use of non-offset inline circle hooks when targeting striped bass using natural baits such as bunker, herring, clams, worms, eels, whatever it may be. So I'm going to talk to you about the hooks and some of the rigging we could do, and that's basically it. Obviously, I'm not going to be using real bait here. I'm inside my house. I'm just going to use a little rubber shad to demonstrate and show you how we could do these things and some of the tricks that we actually use on my boat to help with the circle hooks, and even the J hooks they'll help with as well. So here we go. So we're going to pretend that this basically is your bunker right here. Now here's the two different circle hooks. This right here is your inline circle hook. You can see it's straight in there. You know, that's basically your inline circle hook. And this is going to be your offset circle hook. Now you can see the difference, how that point is going straight out there. Now, one of the most important things about a circle hook is right here, this distance. So this right here is what's basically going to lodge into that fish's jaw. So you got to make sure that this little area is always clear. You can't have a bait like that sticking through it, because obviously that whole thing now is filled, and you're not going to be able to have the circle hook do what it's supposed to do. So it's very crucial never to cover that little point area. So now I'm talking about the point of the hook right here to the shank. That's the space I'm talking about. So with the use of circle hooks, let's say that this is our bunker. I always like to go right through the nostril. So I'm going to just use the offset one just for now, even though it's not the one we will be using, only because it's a bigger hook that I have. So you basically just pop it right through the nostrils and out the other side, okay? So that would be one way to hook this bait. Now you can see there's absolutely no obstruction at all in that little gap right there. And that's very, very important. Now, what happens a lot of times, the hook will work its way through and come back like this. Well, now you're more or less in trouble. This hook will not do its job. The whole entire purpose of this hook is gone. So one of the ways that we could prevent that from happening is with a simple little bead that we could put on the hook. So let me just take this off real quick. These are Ona beads, and they're simple little number 4 soft glow beads. So let me show you what we'll do here. If I could actually even get this package open. It's a brand new package, never opened before. All right. So here's one of the glow beads. You can see they're very, very soft little pliable bead. So here's our hook. So what you're going to do with this is you're going to take the glow bead, slip it over the hook, and pop it right in there. Okay. So basically you can see what that is right now if I show that to you. Okay, so there basically is your bead right there. Now what happens is when you put that hook back through that fish's nostrils, that bead now prevents that hook from spinning around and going back into the fish itself. Okay, it helps you now with that area wide open, as you can see. Okay, so that's one little trick that we use on a boat to help prevent that. You know, these things are pennies, they don't cost a lot of money, but they will save that day, and they do help out a lot, and they're going to prevent that hook from going back in. It's locked in there, it's not moving. You know, you can see it's not going to keep going through, and that's what the issue is. So that was one way of using a circle hook. Another way is we could use, and actually these things work fantastic, are these ultimate bait bridles. They come in multiple sizes. Okay, and that's basically another way of doing it. Now, with the way these things work, let's use the medium-sized one here. I'm going to use the medium one here for you to see. This is the medium size. So basically, our circle hook, let me just move this real quick. This is our circle hook right here. We're basically going to put it right through this top piece, if you could see that. Again, I'm trying to look through the camera as I do this. So that's basically how your hook is going to look right now. Okay, and of course, this would be to your fishing rod with your leader and so forth. So that's basically how that bridle is going to look. Now, what's nice about these is you basically just open it up without getting yourself hooked. Okay, and it's kind of like just like that. Now what you do with that is this goes right through the fish's nostrils. Now I keep saying nostrils, that's where I like to hook the bait. You may put it a different place, which is fine, wherever you want to put it. I don't like to go through the eyes because I always feel that I could pierce the brain, killing your live bait, kind of defeats the whole purpose. So now that's through the fish's nostrils. You know, some people like to go through the eye sockets, as I was just saying. Some people go through the meat over here, you know. So now, once that's through, all you do is just close it, and boom, you're done. And that's how that works with that bridle piece. So now as the bass comes and hails that bait, this hook is completely exposed with absolutely nothing in the way to hook that fish. So let me get a close-up for you so you can see that. Now the bead wouldn't be there at this point. I just left it on the hook. If you're using these bridle little things, you would not need that bead. It's doing all the work for you. Okay, if you see that? And that fish is going to swim freely, and you're good to go. This right here is one of the larger ones that you can see. And again, this is the bigger circle hook. This is an offset. This is not the one you're going to use. Just so you can see how it works. It's very, very simple. Super easy to do. And this is their small one. It's pretty micro, so you can definitely get those little peanut bunkers on there. Very small. Here's an actual lure. This is basically a herring lure. So you can see what I'm talking about, the nostril, you know, putting the hook right through there. Now, also what some people do, they could hook the baits in the back, somewhere in this area. Now, it depends on where you're hooking it. If you're hooking it in the top, that bait has a tendency to swim up. And if you're hooking it in the bottom, that bait has a tendency to swim down. So, with hooking it up to make it go to the top, you get some really cool surface strikes. Like if you're fishing the flats, let's say Jamaica Bay, you pop that hook in and that fish is going to swim on the surface and you'll see some great explosive action on that, on the live bunkers. I just want to show you this herring lure just so you can see what I'm talking about when I say the nostril holes, being that I don't have a actual live bait. Another way of doing the bridles is a little trick I learned from the Funt brothers down in Florida when we were sail fishing on the Kite, is they had their circle hooks and they had a piece of Spectra on there. I don't know if you could see that. And basically, again, you're going to need a rigging needle at this point, and you would run this line through the fish's nostrils, the back, shoulder, wherever you wanted that bait to be. And then they would run this back on the hook, twisting it about 5 times and then put it back, and that would hold it. And basically, you know, you'd twist it like that and then run the hook back through. And again, that would have that free swinging bait, and nothing would be in that area of the hook where you need it. That worked really well, but I guess most people are going away from that now, and the use of small little rubber bands. Here it is with wax line, basically the same concept. This is just with a piece of wax line, as you can see. Again, all these tactics right here, all these ways, you're going to need the rigging needle. So if you don't have the rigging needle for the rubber bands or that, simple, right here, boom, done. Right through the bait and you're good to go. And you can see how simple that is. All right, guys, so now basically I told you how to use those hooks. Now let's talk about when you get that fish on. So if you are using that live bunker, let that fish run. You know, a lot of times the bass will do is they'll actually pause, spin that bait around, swallow it, and then take more of a faster scream in, like they got their bait, they're done, we're out of here, dude. So you'll see that a lot too. So you'll feel a little bit of a pause and boom, the fish takes off. At that point, you don't want to swing back like you would with a J hook or a treble. At that point, just put your reel in gear and just slowly start reeling until that tip bends down. Once that tip bends down, you more or less got that fish hooked. Because you got to really fight that urge. We're also used to these J hooks that we're slamming. And if you slam with a circle hook, you're just going to rip that hook right out of the fish's mouth. You know, with an eel, it's a little bit more faster on the strike. You know, that fish sucks that eel in like a piece of spaghetti. You just reel down. You know, we have a video on the Chase and Tail TV page where you could actually see the eels being used with circle hooks and how when we were out with Kenny out in Montauk, we would just basically reel down, tip would bend over, and you would hook your fish. So, you know, different baits, different ways you can do to hook it up. And, you know, basically that's it. The clam chum, again, it's going to be a test. You know, we're going to see how it goes. So one of the things that are going to be interesting this year is how are we going to clam chum? Now, when clam chum fishing, basically you're walking a bait back We use a 5.0 or a 4.0 Gamakatsu bait holder hook. And what happens is these fish are swimming up the chum slick, and they come up on that bait, and it's an instant hit. They just suck that in so fast, that bait, and you strike right away. There's no letting the fish run, taking any line. It's just at the second you feel that fish breathe on that line, you set that hook, and that's it. And I have never, ever gut hooked a fish when clam chumming. Now, bunker's gonna be different. You know, you're letting the fish run, they're swallowing it, and with the trebles, I get it. You're definitely damaging the fish, and a lot of these fish have the trebles lodged into their bellies, and I don't think the survival rate is that good for them, even when they're cutting them, as they say, cut the line, let them swim off. I don't know about that. Anyway, so I agree with the circle hooks there. But with the clam chumming, back to that, I don't know how we're gonna do it, because we're so used to striking back as soon as we feel that hit. Now we gotta train ourselves to basically, I guess, let these fish swallow the clam bait and just reel down, or just throw it in the rod holder, put it in, lock it up and just wait and set it and forget it. I don't know, but that's not the way I fish. I love to walk that bait back into the chum slick, and then once you feel that fish hit it, so I don't know, something I'm gonna have to get used to, but not the way I'm used to doing it, that's for sure. The J hook is the way to go for that. And again, it's a live bait, it's a clam, so you have to use a circle hook for that. With bucktails, lures, of course, that's still your treble hooks, your J hooks, whatever it may be. You know, how it is now with a bucktail, with an artificial, let's say a fat cow strip, it's not a real bait. So I'm guessing you can get away with your, with your standard J hooks on the bucktails. I don't think anybody's gonna be making bucktails with circle hooks in them. But who knows with these rules and, what's going on these days. But again, that's basically it. So I'll show it to you one more time. And that's just the bridle rig. Going through the circle hook. Again, this is an offset. So you can see you can actually see the offset really well there. How it looks, how it's going right there. So it's offset that way versus an inline, which is completely straight right there. No offset at all. That's an inline circle. Offset circle. Guys, just be careful when you're out there. I know the DC's going to be out there checking, so definitely don't get caught up with something, because they could probably make an example out of you, being it's a new law. So just be careful. Do what you got to do. And that's basically it. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Just a little something I wanted to put together to talk about the circle hooks and the new rules. If you like what you see, please subscribe, leave a comment, and I thank you for watching.